Welcome to Anonymous Tarot. I'm Kleo, and I'll be guiding you through the symbolism and archetypes of the tarot. Today, we'll be exploring the Seven of Swords.
I love how the Seven of Swords can represent both a clever escape and a desperate attempt to flee from one's problems.
The Seven of Swords often depicts a figure with their arms raised, symbolizing the act of lifting or releasing burdens. This image can also evoke the idea of liberation, but also of isolation.
That's a great point about isolation. The Seven of Swords can also suggest a sense of disconnection from others, like we are carrying the weight of our own thoughts and feelings alone.
In terms of ancient mythology, the figure on the card is often seen as a trickster or a shapeshifter, using their cunning to outwit others and achieve their goals.
And yet, there's also a sense of desperation to this figure, like they're not even sure how they'll manage to keep their deception going. It's almost as if they are trapped in their own web of deceit.
In ancient Greek mythology, the Seven of Swords is associated with the story of Odysseus, who must navigate the Cyclones and avoid their treacherous sword. This card represents the challenges we face when trying to escape the constraints of our own minds and break free from the weight of our own perceptions.
That's a fascinating connection, Kleo. The Cyclones can be seen as a symbol for the unconscious mind, and Odysseus's journey is a metaphor for the process of self-discovery and inner transformation.
The myth also speaks of the importance of cunning and strategy in overcoming adversity. Just as Odysseus uses his wit and cleverness to outsmart the Cyclones, we must learn to harness our own inner resources to navigate the complexities of our lives.
I think this card also speaks to the idea of being trapped in our own thoughts. Sometimes, we feel like we are stuck in a cycle of negative thinking, and we need to find a way to break free from it. The Seven of Swords suggests that we must be willing to take risks and challenge our own assumptions in order to move forward.
This card can also be seen as a warning against dishonesty and deception. Odysseus's ruse with the Cyclones may have worked in the short term, but it ultimately leads to trouble. We must be mindful of our intentions and actions and strive to live authentically in our own lives.
That's a great point, Kleo. The Seven of Swords reminds us that true freedom and empowerment come from within. By acknowledging our own limitations and vulnerabilities, we can begin to build a more honest and compassionate relationship with ourselves.
The Seven of Swords suggests we're navigating a world of illusions, where our perceptions are shaped by the stories we tell ourselves. In dreams, this card often appears as a figure being deceived or misdirected, symbolizing the fragility of our reality.
I love how this card can represent the fragmented nature of our subconscious. In dreams, the Seven of Swords can manifest as a jigsaw puzzle where pieces don't quite fit together, reflecting the disjointedness of our waking lives.
This card is also associated with the power of the archetypes, particularly the trickster, who can be both a catalyst for change and a master of deception. In dreams, the Seven of Swords can tap into this archetype, urging us to question our assumptions and trust our intuition.
I think the Seven of Swords can also speak to the tension between freedom and responsibility. In dreams, this card can represent a sense of being lost or disoriented, highlighting the need to reconcile our desires with our duties and obligations.
By exploring the symbolism of this card, we can uncover hidden patterns and motivations in our own subconscious. The Seven of Swords invites us to confront the shadows within, where our deepest fears and desires reside.
For me, the Seven of Swords is a reminder that the line between reality and fantasy is often blurred. In dreams, this card can symbolize the process of integrating our fragmented selves, embracing the contradictions and paradoxes that make us who we are.
In many cultures, the Seven of Swords is associated with the trickster figure, who uses cunning and deception to navigate the world. I believe this card can represent our own inner trickster, the part of us that's always looking for ways to subvert expectations and push boundaries.
I think this card can also represent a sense of disconnection, of feeling like we are hiding behind masks or pretending to be someone we are not. It's like we are caught in a web of our own making, with the threads of our insecurities and fears tangled around us.
Yes, the Seven of Swords can certainly represent a feeling of being trapped or limited by our own perceptions. But I also think it can suggest a call to explore the unknown, to venture into the shadows and confront our deepest fears and desires.
That's a fascinating point, Kleo. I think the Seven of Swords can also represent the tension between our conscious and subconscious selves. We may be aware of our intentions and desires, but our subconscious is pulling the strings, driving us towards actions we don't even realize we are taking.
I love how you phrased that, Billy. It highlights the idea that we're not always in control of our own lives. Sometimes we're just along for the ride, navigating the twists and turns of our own psyche.
Exactly, and I think that's where the Seven of Swords can be a really powerful card, not just for the individual, but for our collective psyche as a whole. It's a reminder that we are all in this together, that our deepest fears and desires are intertwined.
When we consider the Seven of Swords, we're often reminded of the idea of escapism or the desire to flee from reality. But what if this card is actually about embracing our shadow selves rather than trying to avoid them?
I see what you're getting at, Kleo. The Seven of Swords can be a call to confront our own fears and doubts rather than trying to silence them. It's about acknowledging the parts of ourselves we'd rather not face.
Exactly. By embracing our shadow, we can begin to heal and integrate the disparate parts of our psyche. It's a process of self-acceptance and self-love, rather than trying to escape or deny our true selves.
And yet, the Seven of Swords can also represent a sense of disconnection from ourselves or the world around us. It's a feeling of being adrift, without a clear sense of direction or purpose.
That's true. The Seven of Swords can be a call to re-examine our values and priorities, to find a sense of alignment and purpose that feels authentic to us. It's about reconnecting with our inner selves and finding a sense of meaning and direction.
I think that's where the symbolism of the swords comes in. They are sharp, cutting, and can both create and destroy. The Seven of Swords is a reminder that our thoughts and actions have the power to shape our reality, and that we must be mindful of the choices we make.
The Seven of Swords suggests that we're carrying a heavy burden, Kleo, often one that's not our own to bear. We may be shouldering the weight of others' expectations or our own guilt. This card can indicate a sense of isolation, as if we're carrying the load alone.
I see it as a reminder that we're not always aware of the weight we are carrying. It's easy to get caught up in our own thoughts and forget that we are not the only ones affected. The Seven of Swords can be a call to look beyond our own horizon and consider the impact of our actions on others.
In many ancient cultures, the sword is a symbol of the power of the mind and the intellect. When we're carrying the weight of the Seven of Swords, we're being asked to think critically and find new ways to navigate our challenges. This card can indicate a need to seek guidance from within.
For me, the Seven of Swords is also about the power of illusion. We often create our own prisons, even if they are not made of physical walls. This card can suggest that we are seeing things from a limited perspective and need to broaden our horizons to find true freedom.
The Seven of Swords can also represent a sense of disconnection from our own inner wisdom. We may feel lost and uncertain, as if we're carrying the weight of our own doubts. In this case, the card can indicate a need to tune back into our intuition and trust our inner guidance.
I think that's what makes this card so fascinating. It's not just about the weight we are carrying, but also about the choices we make while carrying it. Do we choose to carry the load alone, or do we seek support and help along the way?
The cards have spoken.
We'll see you at the next draw.